Hi, I'm Mark Montano, and you're watching Make Your Mark. Today we're having a creative adventure right in our own backyard. We'll be taking a regular patio umbrella and turning it into a stylish cabana. For the kids, we'll be creating decorative bug shadow boxes. We're also sewing a beautiful simple dress. We're assembling a tabletop s'more maker and turning jars into colorful bohemian lanterns. Join the fun with this episode, Backyard Bliss.
This show is made possible by Krylon. Krylon has been formulating paints that deliver color, durability, and fast dry time since 1947. Our range of products expands from indoors to out with a variety of formulations to meet project needs, from plastic and laminate to rust preventative, and craft and hobby products. And by Eclectic Products, makers of the E6000 family of adhesives. E6000 professional strength adhesives for crafts, decor, home repairs, scrapbooking, photos, framing, and more. E6000 industrial strength adhesive. Faithcrafts.com is proud to sponsor Make Your Mark. At faithcrafts.com, you can find craft projects, videos, and tips. New crochet, Christmas crafts, sewing, kids crafts, jewelry making, knitting, paper craft projects, and more. And by Plaid Enterprises. Plaid has been happily helping crafters bring ideas to life with products such as Folk Art, Delta, Apple Barrel, Lucilla, Gallery Glass, One Stroke, and Mod Podge. Plaid. Creative ideas made easy.
My backyard has a distinct bohemian feel, and I love to light it up with beautiful candles and votives. When I couldn't find lanterns to fit my taste, I decided to make my own. Gather up some nice, large-sized jars. I like peanut butter jars, mayonnaise jars, things like that. Clean off the labels from your jars. And you can do that by just soaking them in warm, soapy water overnight. They should just come off the next morning. Once your jars are thoroughly cleaned and dry, you want to spray them with a stained glass spray paint. All you have to do is spray the outside of your jar with light coats of the stained glass spray paint. And because it's sort of a clear spray paint, you can mix colors together, like I did here. I mixed a red and a blue to make this purple, and I think it's really beautiful. So head to the fabric store and pick up some beautiful gold lace trim in different sizes. This one is 3 inches wide, and we can actually cut it in 3 separate strips. So you'll only need about a yard to make 3 or 4 different candle holders. Just for fun, I picked up some metallic gold trim that's about 1/2 inch wide. The first thing we're going to do is add a 1/2 inch lace trim from the top to the bottom of the jar in different sections all the way around the jar. So we're cutting the 1/2 inch lace trim, the height of the jar. Now we're going to glue these on. So add a little bit of industrial glue. This lasts forever. Then we're taking a tiny bit of hot glue on the top and on the bottom, and it won't move while the industrial glue is drying. Place it on our jar. Just like that, and we're going to do it all the way around the jar. Okay, so we've added the 1/2 inch gold trim all the way around the stained glass jar. And now we're just going to finish it up with our other lace trim. Trim this lace to get a nice strip that will fit around the mouth of the jar. I love gold lace because it's got a metallic sheen to it, and it looks very bohemian with the stained glass. So we've got a nice, beautiful piece of trim here. So just take your lace trim, wrap it around the mouth of the jar so you know how much you'll need. Cut it to size. We're going to add industrial glue to the lace. And to hold it in place, we're just going to put a little dot of hot glue on the ends and throughout the piece of lace. And wrap this around the mouth of our jar, just like that. The next thing we're going to do is take some more hot glue, and we're just going to dab it on the underside of the lace so that it just stays in place, just like that. Now we're going to add lace around the base with the same technique, the industrial glue and then tiny dabs of hot glue so that it stays in place while the industrial glue dries. Next, we're going to go back in with the hot glue and just dab the little pieces of lace that are dangling. And those will stay in place. After you've applied all the lace, just let it dry, and the only thing you have to do is add a candle, and you're ready for a beautiful evening in your backyard. We all love our vacations and spending time outside under the shade of a beautiful poolside cabana. Today I'm going to show you how to have an amazing staycation in your own backyard by converting a regular outdoor umbrella into a decorative cabana. You can use any exterior fabric so it matches your outdoor decor. Plus the panels are removable so you can switch them out whenever you feel like a change. Don't panic, you only need very basic sewing skills to do this project. We're only using a straight stitch. Now the first thing that you want to do is measure the panels of your umbrella. Now this umbrella is 52 inches wide, and from the base of the umbrella right here to the floor, it's about 72 inches. Most fabrics come 54 or 60 inches wide. So I bought a 54-inch wide fabric for this project, and I'm going to hem it 1 inch on both sides so that I don't actually have to do any cutting other than getting the length that I need. Since we want our panels 72 inches finished, I went ahead and pre-cut the panels 74 inches so that I have 1 inch on either side to do my hemming. I've chosen a really cool rainbow plaid because it's going to match this umbrella. So we're just going to start at the corner, and we're going to do a simple fold and fold all the way around. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Perfection is overrated. At least that's what we say on this show. Now, if you're just beginning sewing, using fabrics like plaids and stripes are actually a lot easier to work with because you have straight lines in the pattern of the fabric to help you move along. Okay, we're coming to the edge of the fabric here. We've folded and folded here on the top, and I'm just gonna fold it again and go down the side. And because this is a plaid, it's going to be really easy to get an even seam all the way down. Making panels like this is a great project if you're just starting to learn how to sew, because all it is hemming and it's a lot of practice. Now that we've gone around our entire panel and given it a nice clean finish, looks really good, even if I say so myself, we are going to attach some hook and loop with a sticky back to this so that we can just attach it to the ends of the umbrella. All we're going to do is cut our hook and loop into 3 1.5-inch pieces and evenly put them across the top of our panel. You're going to put them on each end and exactly in the center. So when you're using something like this, it doesn't really matter which side, you keep your pieces together just like this, peel off one side, put it where you'd like it, just like that. Now, you can use buttonholes if you're a really good sewer. You could use snaps if you want to attach snaps to the base of your umbrella. So we've taken off our protective pieces, and we're going to position this on the edge of the umbrella. So I'm putting each of the panels on the top edge of the umbrella because it just looks cleaner from the inside, and that's where we're going to be spending most of our time. And if you want to, tie these up to give it just a little bit more flair, you can do that with a piece of ribbon or sew some ties with it. It's really up to you, but either way, it creates a terrific environment in your backyard. If you've ever had an outdoor party, you know that s'mores are a big hit. Grown-ups and kids alike love to roast marshmallows over a flame. As an alternative to a large fire pit, you can create personal s'mores roasters. They're almost too simple to make, but they add a ton of fun to parties when everyone is cooking over their own miniature flame.
Now, I do want to warn you, this is probably the most difficult project we have done to date. You cut the screen large enough to cover the top of the pot.
I thought you said this was difficult.
Are you ready?
Yes. So we're bending the corners of the screen over the pot.
Drop in your cooking fuel. Light it. And there you have it. Marshmallows in a minute.
You're brilliant!
Seriously, that's it.
That was easy. Genius. Look at that! Do you think we got... Are you seriously trying to eat it while it's on fire?
No. Who would do that? That's stupid.
I grew up with 4 brothers, and let's just say we had no shortage of bug and frog collections. I'm going to show you a project to display a bug collection in a great decorative way. But instead of collecting bugs outside, we'll be using plastic ones. Kids love being able to show off their treasures. You can use this technique for toy cars, polished rocks, or any collection of small items. Shadow boxes can be expensive, so I'm putting these together with simple frames. First thing we're going to do is make sure that we have at least 2 matching frames with a depth of about ½ an inch each. And we're going to take the frames apart and take out all the glass and all the cardboard. Most frames have these little metal tabs in the back that hold in the glass and the cardboard, and we're just going to remove all of those with a pair of pliers. And these are actually really easy to pull out. So remove all of the glass and all of the cardboard because you're not really going to need it anymore. Next, we're going to cut a piece of cardboard and a piece of scrapboard paper the size of the frame. And all you have to do for that is just lay your frame down, trace around it, and cut it out like we've done here. Now we're going to take regular school glue, just kids glue, or you could use a glue stick. And we're going to glue the scrapbook paper on top of the cardboard. Just like that. Next, we're going to glue our frames together with an industrial glue. I gotta tell you, when I was a kid, there was nothing I didn't drag in from the backyard. I was constantly finding rocks and seashells and dead bugs and things like that. Now you can see we've created the shadow box depth by gluing the two frames together, and now all we have left to do is to glue the cardboard in the back. You can use more industrial glue, or you could use hot glue if you want, it's up to you. And if you don't like the color of your frames or you're trying to match your bedroom decor, just take it outside and spray paint it in a color that you like. Now, as a kid and having so many brothers, we always collected bugs. So in memory of that, I'm gonna fill this shadow box with plastic bugs. The first thing you wanna do is arrange your collection and figure out where everything's gonna go before you glue it or pin it down. Oh, this one's way too ugly to use. Horrible. Once you've figured out your arrangement, it's time to glue them down. And for this, you could use hot glue or an industrial glue. It's up to you. I definitely like the plastic bugs better than the real bugs. Once everything's dry, it's time to display your collections. Yummy. Every girl I know loves having a few simple dresses to make getting dressed a breeze. I'm going to show you how to make a basic dress that looks great with everything and looks great on everyone. Don't stress out shopping for the perfect color and fit. Grab some fabric you love and make something you'll love wearing. For this dress, you're going to need about 1.5 yards of 54-inch wide fabric. You're also going to need some 1.5-inch wide elastic, enough to go around the upper bust. This is actually the support of the dress because it doesn't have straps, it's strapless. Next, we're going to attach the ends of the elastic so it's like a big rubber band. You can use just a straight stitch here because the entire thing is going to be hidden. You'll notice that I back-tacked a couple of times here to make it nice and sturdy. Now that your elastic is done, take your length of fabric, just like this, and we're going to give it a stitch on the selvage edge of the fabric, using about 1/2 inch seam allowance. If you're just beginning sewing, it's a really good idea to pin where your seams are going to be. Okay, we've got our fabric pinned, and now we're just going to give it 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way along the selvage edge. And that's going to give us a nice finished tube of fabric. See where we're going with this? This is just a straight stitch all along the length of the fabric. When you get to the end of a seam, you always want to back tack, and that'll just make sure that your threads don't come loose. Now, one of the really important things about making anything that you sew look professional is pressing. Right now, we're just pressing open the seam that we just made on the sewing machine. Okay, our seam's pressed open, and I'm going to show it to you. And see how flat that is and how good it looks. The next thing we're going to do is finish the inside edge where we're going to put the elastic. Since you can see the fabric is fraying right here, we want to be able to cover all of that up so our dress looks very professional inside and out. We're going to fold the fabric over on one edge about 1/4 inch and stitch all the way around the tube. Once again, we're taking it over to the iron and we're going to press this flat. Now that we've finished the edge, we're going to pin in our elastic evenly all the way around. We've got the seam where we stitch the elastic together, and we can put that right on the center back seam of the dress where we stitched the selvage edge together. Just like that, edge to edge. Now here's my trick for pinning in elastic perfectly. It's called half and half and half and half. Makes you want coffee, doesn't it? So we're taking our elastic just like this, and we're halving it. That's our halfway point. And we're taking our dress from the seam just like that, and that's half of the dress. So we're matching these two together. So that's half and half. Okay, there's two more half and halves. So all we have to do is match where we just pinned to get our other half, which we will match up to the half point on the side of the dress. Just like that. Okay, we're going to do that once again in between each of the 4 points of the dress, just so that it makes it easier to sew. Match the pins, and you've got your half, and then you just put those together. It's nice and even. Pin that in just like that. We're going to do that all the way around. So we'll have 8 pins all the way around our dress. So now we're going to stitch the elastic all the way around the top of the dress. And you're going to have to stretch the elastic as you sew. But because we pinned, it's going to go on evenly all the way around. Just using another straight stitch right now. Start on a pin, give it a couple of stitches, pull out your pin, and stretch the elastic, just like that, holding it on both sides and stitching. It's not a good idea to sew over your pins because you can break a needle. So right before you get to a pin, just take it out. Okay, I want to show you this. This is our finished edge where we flipped it over 1/4 of an inch and stitched around the tube of the dress. And then this is the elastic, which we just stitched in all the way across the top. The next thing we're going to do is flip the elastic one more time, stitch it around, and this is going to finish the top of the dress. We're almost done. For this next stitch, you can either pin or you can just stretch the elastic and take your time as you sew around the elastic. Make sure to pull the elastic taut as you're sewing. Okay, we've put in our elastic, and I want to show you how even that is all the way around. And I also want to show you the inside because it's really finished. No frayed edges. The dress is almost done. Now all we have to do is hem it. And what we're going to do for that is use something called a turn and turn. So we're turning the fabric in 1/4 of an inch and then turning it in another 1/4 of an inch and stitching all the way around. Now we finished our hem on the bottom of the dress, and now all we have to do is press and we're ready to style it. This is a shorter version of the dress we just made, and if you pull it down to the waist, it's going to make a really terrific long skirt. This is a maxi dress version, and all you need to do is pull it up here, belt it at the waist, throw on a cardigan, and you'll be styling in no time. Ladies, this may look better on you. Thanks for joining us today as we enjoyed our backyards. We transformed an umbrella into a great staycation cabana. helped the kids display some insects, sewed a versatile, simple dress, made personal marshmallow roasters with Peter, and made funky bohemian hanging votives. Now it's your turn to make your mark.
This show is made possible by Krylon. Krylon has been formulating paints that deliver color, durability, and fast dry time since 1947. Our range of products expands from indoors to out with a variety of formulations to meet project needs, from plastic and laminate to rust preventative, and craft and hobby products. And by Eclectic Products, makers of the E6000 family of adhesives. E6000 professional strength adhesives for crafts, decor, home repairs, scrapbooking, photos, framing, and more. E6000 industrial strength adhesive. Favecrafts.com is proud to sponsor Make Your Mark. At favecrafts.com, you can find craft projects, videos, and tips. New crochet, Christmas crafts, sewing, kids crafts, jewelry making, knitting, paper craft projects, and more. And by Plaid Enterprises. Plaid has been happily helping crafters bring ideas to life with products such as Folk Art, Delta, Apple Barrel, Lucilla, Gallery Glass, One Stroke, and Mod Podge. Plaid. Creative ideas made easy.